For all you QA engineers out there, picture this. What if writing a test felt less like digging through code and more like just writing a to-do list? Imagine typing, visit the login page, type in the email, click login. Well, that's exactly the promise behind Cypress's new AI Copilot. Today, we're going to do a deep dive into the experimental cy.prompt command, see how it actually works, and figure out what it can mean for the future of our tests. And boom, here it is in action. Just look at this. On the left, you've got your test steps, written in plain, simple English. And on the right, that's the actual Cypress code being generated by the AI in real time. This is the whole idea right here, bridging that gap between what we want to do and what the machine needs to execute. And it's not just about being faster, this is a totally different way to think about test automation. So, here's our game plan for this explainer. We'll start with what this AI test assistant even is. Then, we'll peek under the hood to see how the magic happens. After that, we'll check out the 2 different ways you can use it, get into the secrets of writing great prompts, and then wrap up with some real-world examples and, of course, the limitations you gotta know about.
All right, let's jump right in. What are we really talking about when we say AI test assistant?
Okay, so what is it really? At its core, cy.prompt is a brand new experimental command in Cypress. You just feed it a list of your test steps, written in plain English, and its whole job is to use an AI model to translate those steps into actual Cypress code that runs right against your app. It's kind of that simple. So how in the world does it go from a simple phrase like click the login button all the way to a passing test? Let's break down how that magic actually works. It's basically this 5-step dance. First, the AI figures out what you're trying to do. Then, Cypress scans your app's DOM, the whole structure of the web page, to find the absolute best, most statable selectors for the elements you mentioned. After that, it generates and runs the code, and it even caches the result so it's faster next time. But honestly, step 5, the self-heal part, that's the real game changer. If a selector breaks because the UI changed, Cypress doesn't just fail. It actually tries to find a new one on its own. Just think about the hours of maintenance that could save you. Now that self-healing feature is incredibly powerful, and it actually leads you to a really important choice. Cypress gives you 2 main ways to use cy.prompt, and which one is right for you is really going to depend on your project. So you've got 2 paths here. The first one is what we'll call generate once, commit. Think of this as a super smart scaffolding tool. You use the AI to generate the initial code, you look it over, and then you commit it like any other piece of code. It's predictable, PR-friendly, and has no AI dependency when it runs. The second path is continuous AI-powered testing. This is where you actually leave the cy.prompt command in your code. This is for teams that want to go all in on that self-healing magic, letting their tests just adapt on the fly as the UI evolves. But here's the thing, no matter which workflow you choose, the AI is only as smart as the instructions you give it. Garbage in, garbage out. So let's talk about how to write prompts that get you reliable, repeatable results. The best way to think about this is like you're giving instructions to a brand new junior engineer. Clarity is everything. You always want to start with an action verb. Click, type, verify. When you're navigating, give it the full URL. And a big one action per step. Don't try to get fancy and chain things together. And you've got to be explicit. Saying click the submit button with the quotes is so much better than just click submit. Adding a little context like in the header can also make a world of difference. And here's a perfect side-by-side of what I mean. Look at the good prompt. Verify the success message, profile updated successfully appears. It's crystal clear. There's no room for guessing. Now look at the bad one. Check success. What does that even mean? Check what? Where? This kind of vague instruction is just asking for flaky tests. Being specific is your absolute best friend here. Okay, enough with the theory. Let's get to the fun part and look at what this thing can actually do in the wild. But we're also going to be realistic and talk about what it can't do, at least not yet. Now, for anyone who's ever worked with a BDD framework like Cucumber, you are going to love this. You can write your tests using that familiar Gherkin syntax, given, when, then, and cy.prompt just understands it right out of the box. And the biggest win? You get all the readability of Gherkin without having to write and maintain all those separate step definition files. That is a huge simplification. Or let's take a classic e-commerce flow. This prompt walks through searching for a product, adding it to the cart, and checking that the cart updated correctly. It's a pretty complex user journey, right? But the test itself just reads like a simple checklist. You could show this to a business analyst and they would understand exactly what's being tested. That's what we call self-documenting code.
Okay, time for some real talk. Since this is an experimental feature, there are some limitations to be aware of. You'll need a Cypress Cloud account to use it since that's where the AI processing happens. For now, it's only for E2E tests, no component testing yet, and it only runs in Chromium-based browsers. It's also most reliable with English, and a few assertions, like checking that something does not exist, aren't supported yet. It's just good to know the rules of the playground before you jump in.
So you're probably thinking, okay, I want to try this like right now. Well, the good news is it's ridiculously easy to get started. You just pop open your cypress.config.js file and add this one single line, experimental prompt command true. That is literally it. As long as you're logged into Cypress Cloud, you can start using cy.prompt right away. And that really brings us to the big picture here. This kind of tool isn't about replacing engineers, not at all. It's about augmenting us. It's about letting the AI handle the boring, repetitive stuff, finding selectors, writing basic commands, so that we can free up our brain power to focus on the truly complex parts of quality, the edge cases, the performance issues, the security vulnerabilities. The real question this leaves us with is, with all that extra time and mental energy, what bigger, tougher problems are you going to solve next?